Welcome to True Blue Extra. I'm Dave McCann with BYUtv football analyst Blaine Fowler. So we had Bronco Mendenhall on the show this week. Pretty relaxed.
Yeah, he really seems like he's comfortable in that role. In the early years, you know, he was trying to figure out how to be a head coach, how to deal with the media and do all that. He's always been an outstanding game planner, player coach and all that. But this head coaching gig, there's a lot of pressure off the field. And he just seems really comfortable in that role now, confident and comfortable. It's fun to see him.
Still the defensive coordinator, always will be a defensive guy. So now, as he told us today, he's been watching tape on Washington State to game plan for the ultimate offensive challenge with Mike Leach. Where does that put Bronco in the, this is kind of personal. This is a distinctive offense against defense matchup.
Yeah, it really is. This is a matchup that he will love. I guess
if
he does well.
Yeah.
If he does well, he will love it. Because there's a lot of really good football teams that have tried to slow Texas Tech down, and most of the time it ends up being, can you just outscore them? Leach does a terrific job of finding a weakness in a defense and then just hammering it. They'll just attack you, attack you, attack you. And he's got skill guys that can run and go catch the football at Washington State. This Marquise Wilson is a big-time guy. So this is a challenge for Bronco. I do think that personnel-wise, he has more speed defensively than he's had at BYU since he's been here. That allows him to match up a little bit better against the spread than maybe BYU has in the past. But he's got to figure out a way to confuse their quarterback, and their quarterback is an experienced guy. Because if that quarterback knows where he's supposed to go with the football, this Mike Leach offense, that spread offense that he's run at Texas Tech, is almost unstoppable.
What day will the game plan be in place? Here, we're sitting on Monday. The game's a week from Thursday. When is it done?
I think that they will be ready to go with the game plan in place at the end of this week.
So Friday?
So, yeah, where they'll say, this is what we want to do. Brandon Doan will start to get his game sheet ready, maybe his script for the first 15 plays or so. I'm not sure. I can't remember how many Brandon told me he does, but Andy Reid does 15 plays that he scripts at the beginning of the game. Mike Holmgren is similar. I think Brandon's probably somewhere around there. I think that'll be ready to go 1 week out from the game.
So when does the pressure begin to mount on the coaches that it's really, really, really important to win the first game on ESPN and all that stuff?
It's already mounted. They're ready. They know.
Just like,
when they turn the page from fall camp to, okay, this is who our guys are going to be, and they've got kind of their depth chart figured out, now they turn the page to the opener, and they start to feel that pressure. And every day that gets closer to that game, the pressure is a little bit more.
Well, you think about it. It's a year-long job now, and you really only have 12 days to solidify who you are and what you want to do.
Yeah. What other job do you work 365 days during the year, and you only have 12 opportunities to show whether you're good or not?
Yeah.
You know, they don't grade you really on your recruiting or what you're doing or how you're developed. They grade you on whether or not you win football games. So you have 12 opportunities. It's a lot of pressure in college football coaching.
Well, especially as an independent, where every one of your games is on national TV, and every one of your games is, hey, we're relevant, remember us, keep us in mind, because we're not in a league.
Yeah, and there's so much importance on the big games against big conference opponents. Washington State's a Pac-12 team. BYU, until next year, still has a light November schedule. And I think there's some pressure to set the tone early, win some of these big games. You know, you mark games on the calendar, we do. And the coaches in the back of their minds do. They try to, you know, approach each game one game at a time. But you know, Washington State's big, Utah's big, Notre Dame's big, Georgia Tech's big. Those big intersectional games against teams from big conferences have a higher importance.
A position often overlooked and yet so important is the kicker. You know, the extra points look so automatic, and last year Justin Sorensen didn't miss one. Field goals, that was another question. But now with his back situation, he hasn't kicked all summer or fall camp. You got Riley Stevenson, the punter, who looks to be the one who's going to do the place kicking and the kickoffs and the punting. Is that a concern if you're Coach Mendenhall?
Yeah, I think it's a big concern.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had Taysom Hill, the backup quarterback, kicking too, just to see what he can. Bronco can downplay. That's got to be a concern for him.
Sure.
You know, Riley Stevenson is very capable. You and I could go practice for a few weeks and kick some extra points, I think. But it's big games that come down to the wire. You need a 46-yard field goal. You need to have your guy. And you'd hate to have Stevenson also have his punting game affected by having to worry about kicking as well. He was so good at changing field position, especially at the end of the season. You'd like him to be able to focus on that. So my biggest concern is that his focus is taken away and he's not as effective punting the football. So, gosh, you hope that's not going to be the case, and you hope that Sorensen can get that back healthy after he's had that injection and be ready to go.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, we have a question from the fans because they really enjoyed this segment because you really loosen it up with your comments. Justin D. Sweeney, how much of a concern is it that Riley Nelson rarely has the same 5 offensive linemen in fall camp? Bronco kind of touched on this a little bit during our show this week. What do you think?
It's a big concern.
Yeah.
I mean, Riley talked to us a week ago, and he voiced the concern. I mean, rarely is a quarterback that vocal about not having his offensive linemen all there as one unit through fall camp. He said it. He's concerned about it. And going into fall camp, my single biggest concern for this football team was how well would the offensive line come together. And I don't know that they've had the kind of reps they'd like to have coming into game prep time. So these next 9 days are really, really important for them to come together as a group and have the 5 they're going to play together. They're behind schedule. There's no doubt about it. Nobody will say that, but they haven't had the same guys together through fall camp, and that hurts.
Next week we'll be out at the stadium in our perch, our BYUtv perch for our True Blue show, and we'll have the guys from campus over to explain what's going to happen on game night, whether the jets are going to fly over and things like that. So it should be pretty exciting.
Do we get a jet flyover?
A word on the street is there will be a jet flyover, and we will confirm that next Monday.
Yeah, I love that. And we have a permanent facility over there now with a new desk for us to work from. It's going to be good stuff. I'm excited to be over there next week.
All right, this is BYUtv football analyst Blaine Fowler. I'm Dave McCann. A True Blue Extra. We'll see you on BYUtv.